Hi, adventurers, or investigators as it were, for today's episode of Building Character. This is a show where we take different role-playing games and show you a little bit about them, usually by building a character for that particular game system. And today, we are looking at Call of Cthulhu by Chaosium Games. They have a really amazing write-up on the back. I'm going to kind of read that off real quick to kind of give you some insight as to what this is about. So, Call of Cthulhu is a world of mystery and horror and adventure in a box. This starter set contains everything you need to begin playing Call of Cthulhu, the tabletop role-playing game of mystery and horror. Players take on the role of investigators of mysteries, uncovering dark secrets, encountering strange monsters, and thwarting sinister cults, which is always a good idea. Together, you and your friends create and develop a story in which each of your characters plays a leading role, which could be foiling some dastardly plot or stopping horrors from beyond space and time. And one of the things I like about the back of this box, for anybody that might be like wanting to or doesn't know what role-playing as a tabletop game is, it gives a really good example. It says, role-playing games are a social pastime. Everyone works together in a team, each playing an investigator character. One player runs the game. This individual is the Keeper of Arcane Lore, which is a great title, who referees the rules and presents the story and adventure plots to the other players. Think of it a bit like acting in a drama, but where there isn't a script. Dice and the rules of the game determine the success or failure of your character's actions, all while you're propelled into dramatic and nerve-tingling situations. The emphasis on role-playing is, of course, having fun. So inside this box, we should get a Book 1, which is the introduction and Alone Against the Flames adventure. Book 2, Call of Cthulhu Starter Rules. Book 3, Adventures, 3 starter adventures for the players to explore. So there's one in Book 1 and 3 other adventures included. Ready-made Investigators, which we'll take a look at. Should be 5 of those. Blank Investigator Sheets, so that we could create one. And we may do a little basic build based on the miniature I have here. And some dice and some other handouts, some ready-to-use props. So let's go ahead and bust into this and see what we find. Hi, Clive and Sarah. Hope you all are having a great day today. So we'll just put the box right here. And there's the miniature, our little shotgun wielder or carbine rifle wielder. So we get a little flyer that talks about what's in the box and who is Chaosium Games. An app, the Cthulhu Chronicles official interactive fiction game, now available on the Apple store. Very cool. I'll just go ahead and set those off to the side. Okay, so we do have a bunch of blank character sheets here. All right. So there's, looks like 6 blank character sheets. Very nice. There's a lot of information to be found on the character sheet as well. I don't know how that's going to look. No worries. There's a lot of stuff on there with the stats and all the different skills and everything that you could potentially have on your sheet. So you got all the character stats there. And that's just the front side of the sheet. The back side looks like this. Fellow investigators, gets all their little information, who you've traveled with, and all sorts of other good content. It looks like I have one of these as a, oh yeah, sorry, that back sheet was one of the pre-gens. All right, so the pre-gens are, we have Kelko Kane, and she is her personality description, she's slim physique, she's thick dark hair, glasses, and a broad smile. She, science given the time, can explain everything, doesn't believe in ghosts, and wants to find a scientific explanation for such weird happenings. Significant people, her older brother Hugo, who she loves dearly. Hugo works as a doctor in San Francisco. And meaningful locations to this character are libraries where she can get lots of massive books about science. And her treasured possession is a silver penknife given to her by her brother. She always carries it as a good luck token. Probably could save her in a scrap as well. There's also Lois Russo, whose ideology and beliefs are raised in the Catholic Church. She has a healthy respect for the supernatural and can be quite superstitious. Her father, who she knows works for the gangster Dutch Schultz in New York, is her significant people in her life. New York City is a meaningful location. In the loving arms of her family, also training on the athletic track where she can focus her mind. Those are like places where she likes to be, New York City and on the track. Treasured possessions, a switchblade knife, a present from her father who said, keep this with you. It'll get you out of hard spots. A lot of knives. There's a character called Nevada Jones. Let's just take a look at Nevada Jones real quick and see who, are they referencing somebody there? I don't know. Kind of looks like a treasure hunter maybe. But what's also kind of funny is an archaeologist perhaps. As a matter of fact, it says occupation, archaeology professor. This is kind of interesting. Residence in Arkham and was born in Winnipeg, Canada. And it's kind of interesting is the miniature that we have on the spinner here kind of looks like this character unpainted. Louis Rousseau, she was an engineering student, and the Kelko Kane is a science student. The two more investigators here. We've got Wentworth Avebury, a languages professor. It would appear that these are all members of the college, the local college. This particular character's ideology and beliefs are a lifelong interest in the myth and folklore. He is willing to believe in the reality of the supernatural, but has yet to find any hard evidence. Interesting. Significant people, his late wife Jane, he thinks there was something she wanted to tell him before she died. Treasured possessions, a small frame containing a photograph of his wife, his late wife. And then finally, there is Jesse Williams, a history student. So 3 students, 2 professors. And this particular character has a strong faith in God, having been raised in the church by her mother. Significant people are her mother Joyce, who she writes to every week. Meaningful locations are her mother's home in Boston, where the best possible food is served, and treasured possessions, her late father's pocket Bible. Traits, this character's a risk taker, likes to be in the middle of the action. I can see that. That's pretty cool. So you have the 5 characters there that come pre-generated. Then, like I mentioned, is book 1, which is the Alone Against the Flames. And it also had... Oh, and dice, we mentioned that. All the dice you'd need to play RPG. So book 1 is the introduction and Alone Against the Flames. And so it has some pretty good like pulp artwork, like you would see in the old pulp magazines of the 1920s and 30s, which is really cool. And yeah, it's an adventure. Alone Against the Flames. It's a pretty hefty one, considering it's almost 55 pages of content in book 1. And then book 2 is the introductory rules, and this artwork also is pretty significantly amazing. With the could be just fireworks or swamp gas in the background. Nothing supernatural. It's all explainable through science. Or is that a giant bug? Could be that too. And this one talks about what is the Call of Cthulhu, how to create an investigator. So let's kind of take a look at that. So it wants you to say, it says here, step 1, investigator characteristics. It has your stats from strength, con, power, dex, appearance, size, intelligence, education. Allocating the following values where you like amongst the 8 characteristics. So it gives you 40, 350s, 260s, a 70, and 80, and you allocate them to the different stat blocks. Step 2, secondary attributes. There's a number of attributes that are determined after you have worked out the investigator's characteristics. These are damage bonus and build, hit points, move rate, sanity, and magic points. Okay. So everything you need to know about building a character is also in this book 2. And there's 5 steps to character building. Talks a little bit about the game system, what dice are rolled for different skill tests, and what those difficulty levels might mean. So a regular task requires a roll equal to or less than your skill value on D100. A difficult task requires a roll equal to or less than half your skill value. And then, of course, the limits of human capability requires a roll equal to or less than 1/5 of your skill value in an extreme success. Nice. That's crazy. Hashtag insanity. And it talks about sanity in here, because that's one of the things about Cthulhu and the Call of Cthulhu is you're always at risk of losing your mind as you are investigating things that are just not meant to be investigated and break your concept of reality. And then, of course, it has your normal hit points and wound rules. And finally, for halves and fifth values, it has a little chart on the back here, so when you're making up those difficulty rolls, kind of gives you a quick chart to figure out, so you don't have to do the math all up in your head, which is nice. So this book is 23 pages long, right there, book 2. And then finally, book 3, which is More Adventures, Paper Chase and Other Adventures. And again, a great art piece on the cover there. And you can see on the stairwells in the back, there's some tentacles coming down. Because, again, when written about the Call of Cthulhu, Lovecraft was like, you know, it's the things, everybody has it where they might sometimes see something just out the corner of their eye, but when you look, there's nothing there. But what if you looked and it was, you know? Is your sanity going to be broken based on what you see? And so this has 3 more adventures, and those 3 more, and some other little like prompts for the role-playing game, the actual Call of Cthulhu, the big, thick core book is in there. And this is 77 pages of adventure that you can take your characters through. And it looks, based on what's in here, very much thematic to the characters that are pre-generated to the box set, which is pretty awesome. And then, of course, we talked about the handouts, and these are those pre-generated props that can be used. So you got some a note, more little notes and clues there, an article from the local newspaper about a brutal murder at the docks, more reports and other little pages. Like this is cool, a page that looks like it was ripped out of someone's little pocket notebook with some Seeker of Wisdom's information. It looks like it would be from a cultist. More little pages. There's just some really cool stuff in here. I don't want to show it too much and give away some stuff, but lots of good stuff that you'll see. And then, of course, the city in which you are running around in, right there, which is really cool. Hey Jeff, hey Sarah, Craig, is there a Cthulhu video game out? I don't know. I would assume there is. Sarah asks, have you ever seen the movie cast A Deadly Spell with Fred Ward? Very Cthulhu-esque. I have not. Clive says it's evening. Oh, yeah, he's in the UK. All right. And then Indy's cousin. Yes. That pre-generated character is Indy's cousin. So that's kind of a basic look at the Call of Cthulhu. We're not going to do a character build today. We just want to show this off, show you that one of the great things about these starter boxes, not just for Call of Cthulhu, but other role-playing games, is it's a ready packaged game, ready for if you want to try something new. If you're already a person that likes to play role-playing games, pick up a starter box of something that you haven't. And if Call of Cthulhu is something that has always been of interest, it's a great get to give you that introductory look into a whole new realm of role-playing in the mystery and horror thematic. This is currently available at your friendly local game store. It's about $24, $25, so it's a low cost for buy-in to play. So you can get this, and if they do not have it on the shelves, you can ask them, hey, I saw Call of Cthulhu, I think it looks interesting, it's in my thematic, could you order it for me and get it on your table real soon through your retailer? And that would be awesome. So go check out Call of Cthulhu, go to your friendly local game store. This has been a very short episode of Building Character. I'm Rick, and I'll see you at the game store.
Thanks for watching. watching Building Character. If you liked it, leave a like and a comment below, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new content.